Welcome to the Legal Insight podcast by HHQ, where we help you unpack the world of law, business, and tech. And as many of you know, this year we have talked a lot about fintech. Fintech law, from consumer credit bill to tokenization of digital assets, and many more. A plethora of updates this year, and the Securities Commission Malaysia has been absolutely busy, I can assume, in their rooms. Now, the SC has just released a long-awaited set of rules. Now, we're one of the first ASEAN countries to release the guidelines on social exchange platforms. And as of now, it's already making waves because for the very first time, it introduces a regulated way for non-profit organizations to conduct fundraising for social impact projects. Now, given the depth of this subject, we will be splitting our discussion into 2 episodes so that we can properly unpack what this new development means for the industry. Now, today we begin with the fundamentals, and to do so, we're joined once again by 2 of the authors of our recent articles, Ong Johnson, the head of Technology Practice Group, and Khai, the co-head of Technology Practice Group. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show.
Good to see you, Zach. Very good morning, Zach. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Now, Johnson, let me start with you. For many of our listeners, the phrase social exchange platform may sound totally foreign to them. Now, could you perhaps walk us through at a high level what exactly is a social exchange platform, and why is this introduction a groundbreaking one?
Yeah, thank you, Zach, for the question. So essentially, one can really understand a social exchange platform as an electronic platform operated by an operator that facilitates fundraising activities or fundraising exercise by a non-profit organization that is mainly for social impact project. And then this is very groundbreaking, mainly because for the past decade, SC, we all know that they have introduced a number of fintech channels for fundraising activities such as ECF, P2P, or even IEO. However, we all know that all these fundraising exercise, or we call it the fundraising channels, they are not really designed for non-profit organizations. And most importantly, these fundraising activities, they are not really designed for social impact projects. And as the market matures, we all know that there is a growing need for non-profit organizations to fundraise for their social impact project as well. So what is groundbreaking here is for the very first time locally in Malaysia, we already have a regulated social exchange platform for social impact fundraising activities. So we are certainly enter into a new arena where non-profit organizations, they will have a means to fundraise.
Thanks, Johnson. Now, Khai, let's turn to you. Fundraising through online platforms is not exactly new.
Yeah.
Many people are already familiar with websites where charitable causes are promoted, stuff like GoFundMe or other social impact websites. And donations are already being collected digitally, and that's how I do some of my charities as well. So, what is it that makes a social exchange platform truly special?
Very good to know that you do charity as well, Zach.
Yeah.
So I believe that, in my opinion, what sets this social exchange platform initiative apart from all the other online fundraising platform for social causes apart, right? It's really the regulated foundation. So in ASEAN country, and I believe in Malaysia, this is the first time ever where fundraising for a cause is under regulation. So essentially, the guidelines says that if you want to operate a platform where you allow non-profit organizations, NPOs, to come and list their social impact project to then raise funds for whatever causes or whatever impact they intend to make in the community, you are supposed to adhere to a certain set of rules, accountability requirements, for example, transparency requirements, reporting requirements, not just on the platform operators, but those who wants to list on their platform, those non-profit organizations as well, they have certain sets of obligations as well to make sure that whatever money that they raise from donors, when they utilize the funds, there is a transparency, auditability as well, right? Donors can really see where their money goes. In a traditional platform that you use, Zach, perhaps, or even when you donate directly to some of those organizations, charitable organizations, you don't really know whether your money is really going to places where they claim to be. For all you know, they are just putting up a report on paper, use AI to generate some images to show what they have done, right? But you really don't know whether those things are true or not. But now, with this initiative, with this guideline, there is a regulator that is watching.
Thanks, Khai. Those are really good points. Now, Johnson, building on Kai's point, under these new guidelines, who exactly is permitted to operate a social exchange platform? Can any non-profit organization just sign up on a sheet and say, hey, I'm now listed on this platform?
Yeah, not exactly that. I mean, I wish that I can also be operating a social exchange platform. Otherwise, I can be doing my own fundraising as well. So the guideline makes it very clear that no person can actually hold themselves as an operator of a social exchange platform unless they themselves is being registered with the SC. So in other words, only those who have been properly registered with the SC can operate a social exchange platform with the new guideline just being released by SC. So the law make it very, very clear. If anyone is listening to the podcast right now, if you are one way or another operating a social exchange platform, what I'm supposed to do now is pause and then immediately speak to a lawyer and then find an appropriate way and to properly register yourself with the SC. Otherwise, your operation will be deemed as illegal.
Okay. Now, Khai, that leads neatly into the next issue. What are the key criteria for registration as a social exchange platform operator with the SC?
The criteria are actually quite stringent. There are a list of criteria, but I will highlight probably 3 to 4 key ones. The first one being that you must be a locally incorporated company. If you are a global organization doing your projects and initiative across the globe, right? But you don't have an establishment here in Malaysia, you just won't be able to then sign up as a social exchange platform operator under the guidelines. So to be a registrant, you will need to set up, say, a Sendirian Berhad, or in this case, CRBG most likely. And on top of that, just like a lot of the SC's guideline, usually the directors, the controllers, and the responsible person, those key management personnel, they need to pass what we call a fit and proper test. And typically this is a behavioral test to make sure that they are not bankrupt, they are not investigated or being charged for fraud or dishonesty related crime. Another key criteria that I would say that's very important is when it comes to risk management requirement. At the end of the day, social exchange platform is a digital platform. And anything that's digital, there's always a technology risk, right? Risk of it being hacked. Someone can actually hack the system and change the bank account number that where the funds are supposed to go, right? So the guideline actually says that if you want to be a registered social exchange platform operator, you need to make sure that your risk management measures are in place and those are robust and it addresses whatever technology risk that you can identify that are out there.
Thanks, Khai. That sounds really stringent, and I'm not sure whether like the bar is being set really high here.
Yeah,
it kind of sounds like, whether you're operating as a listed company or you're operating as a Sendirian Berhad. The requirement sounds really strict. So, Johnson, what's your perspective on this? It sounds like the bar is set really high for new entrants to enter into this space of a social exchange platform. And from your perspective, is the strictness actually justified? Does it, risk stifling innovation in the space where, innovation is much needed here? Social exchanges or social impact causes really need that visibility and may not have the means or the funds or the operational power behind it to comply with these set of guidelines that Khai has just mentioned.
Yeah, I think it's a very fair point. And then to be honest, when we are talking about stringent requirements, there's no surprise. After all, it's a guideline released by SC. Ultimately, we have to understand, even though this is fundraising activities for NGO, but ultimately it's still concerning funds. So in other words, like what mentioned by Khai and what you mentioned, a lot of time, we are the donors. We are the one actually donating for charitable cause. We actually want to ensure that every single dollar, every single cent that is being donated is channeled for a proper cause. It will not be misused, will not be abused, and most importantly, it's not going to be fund for the charitable founders, new bungalow or new Mercedes. We want to ensure that the money is channeled for the right purposes. So if we actually understand the underlying rationale, which is really for fundraising purposes, which is for fundraising activities, especially for social impact project. So the stakes are very, very high. And this is why when we are talking about transparency, governance, especially integrity, these are the elements that cannot be compromised, especially we are talking about electronics platform. So as mentioned by Khai, when it comes to technology risk, we has to actually ensure everything is actually being operated on the top tier basis. So I actually think that this is actually providing a very good balance. Number one, this can actually avoid companies from exploiting this platform just to take advantage and also to abuse the ecosystem. And most importantly, we do not want them to misuse the funds that's being raised. And at the same time, we can also expose and also allow operators they are actually serious, they are credible, and then those who actually means business to properly operate within a very safe, within a very regulated environment. So if you ask me, is it stringent? Yes. But is it necessary? Absolutely yes as well.
Those are good points, guys. So now, assuming one does become a registered operator, what obligations, Khai, would such a platform have to comply in its day-to-day operations? Is it going to be very operationally heavy on those registered operators?
Yeah, certainly very operational heavy. I would even say that there are two main categories of obligations that a registered social exchange platform would have, right? The first one would be administrative obligations. So to administrative obligations in the sense that you are running a platform where you allow non-profit organizations to come and list their projects on your platforms. So you need to do screening, right? You need to administer all these projects. You need to make sure that whoever that applies to be listed on your platforms, they are who they say they are. They are doing what they say they are doing. And the method of them doing things, the charitable causes, the social impact causes that they say they will be creating through the projects are really there, are really viable and achievable through whatever that they are doing. And the funds, the amount of funds that they are raising is enough, right? So you need to do all this pre-screening, pre-listing screening in a sense. And ultimately, once you allow and approve someone or a particular project to be listed on your platform, you then need to make all these requirements known to donors, to the public. So, and you need to make sure that all these informations are always there on your platform so that donors can see an available running list of projects where they can donate to. So that would be the first big obligation, the administrative part, I would say. The second part, I would call it the reporting obligations. Essentially, you need to report how your operation is like. You need to actually submit annual compliance report to the SC to tell them that, hey, I'm actually doing my job. Whatever requirements that you need me to do, I'm on top of every single one of them. And at the same time, here is my financial statement. Because, like it or not, exchange platform operator, they also need to take a cut from whatever fundraising they allow on their platform, right? But that cut, it's very, very little. It's quite thin in a sense. It's quite controlled and restricted under the guideline. So how much do you receive? All this needs to be transparent. You're not receiving under table money from any of the owners or any of the founders of the social impact project.
Now, Johnson, let's come back to you for one final thought. Now, these obligations you and Khai have already outlined, they seem very demanding. The due diligence alone seems really rigorous. And from your perspective, who would, in their right mind, want to come under this guideline, and why would they want to do it? And how do you see this framework shaping the future of social impact fundraising in Malaysia? For those who are listening today who might actually be considering becoming an operator, how should they approach this whole registration process?
Yeah, Zach, you are right. And I also do agree that the obligations are very demanding. I would say that with this guideline, only those reliable, credible, and most importantly, trustworthy operator will actually be allowed and also be interested to apply for this to become a registered social exchange platform operator. Otherwise, if I'm running an illegal business, I know that I'm not able to fulfill the requirement. I'm not able to go through the due diligence process. So in that case, they have no choice but to actually cease operations. So if you are listening to this and then you know that, look, I'm actually operating a social exchange platform and I need to be registered, what you're supposed to do is, according to the guideline, you need to submit certain kind of documents to SC. So do speak to a lawyer, look for a law firm, and then get a proper legal consultation and also legal assistance that should help you to ensure that the registration process will be smooth and also will be a successful one.
Thanks. Now you've been listening to the topic on social exchange platforms. the latest guidelines released by the Securities Commission of Malaysia. Now, this was episode 1. Stay tuned for episode 2 coming in the next 2 weeks, where we will dive in a little deeper, as Khai mentioned, on these guidelines. So stay tuned on the Legal Insight podcast by HHQ. We'll see you in the next episode.